Okay, welcome to another Happy Histories with Michael. And today I brought you to St. Bride's, Fleet Street. St. Bride's is named after an Irish saint, St. Bridget, from County Kildare. And this church was established during Saxon times. And during the Great Fire of London, it was destroyed and rebuilt by Wren. Now, one of the things that makes this church a favourite of mine and why I want to feature it on Happy Histories is because of that wonderful spire behind us. And in fact, this spire inspired this gentleman, Mr. William Rich, who was a baker, a pastry maker, a cake maker, and he made a wedding cake for his bride shaped after this spire. And this is why we have the beautiful wedding cakes that everybody loves. I think not having a wedding cake shaped like this could annul your marriage. Only joking. So that's one of the connections here. Now, actually, during the Second World War, it was bombed and it was very badly damaged, and it was only really rebuilt by 1957. But in fact, this church also has a connection to journalism. William Caxton, the chap who made the first printing presses in Westminster, his apprentice William de Wort, he moved his establishment here because it was close to St. Paul's and the ecclesiastical book printers and so on. And now, one of the reasons it's so wealthy is because the Fleet Street, of course, in their heyday, this was their church. And in fact, they've got a beautiful little chapel, which I will show you in a moment. So, follow me. Of the church, and here we've got a special altar here to journalists who've passed away, and at the bottom of the altar it says, "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt amongst us." So this is calling about the Word, Jesus, if you like. And of course up here we've got a whole load of very famous journalists who we know from our televisions and so on. Journalism is a noble calling. It's important that what goes on in the world is made known to us all. But there are people who would silence us. And unfortunately, just down here, the biggest number of people who have memorialized here are journalists who've been covering the Gaza conflict. And there were just too many to mention. So, we've got Yusuf Mahadawas, Abdullah Habib, Issam Baha, Mohammed Bushli. And that's just one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those here. Now, the most famous of the reporters of the Palestinian conflict is, of course, Shireen Abu Akleh. May she rest in peace. Anyway, this is the Journalist Church and St. Bride's. Actually, I was here a few years ago. I was reconnoitering a walk when I was a tour guide. And the church was closed because there were two young newlyweds who were getting wed here. Rupert Murdoch and his young bride, Jerry Hall. Didn't end well, but lots of very happy marriages were celebrated here at St. Bride's. Anyway, thank you for watching. Okay, I neglected to mention one unique thing about St. Bride's. Of course, Christopher Wren, he built countless churches here in the City of London after the Great Fire. And all of the workers had to have a place to refresh themselves. So he also built a Christopher Wren pub. for his workers. And you can see here, built by Crystal Game, and it's been licensed here for over 300 years. So, once again, thank you for watching.